Alright, so I'm going to do this 1 through 12 questions, multiple choice. So it says, consider the function, this is square root of 7x plus b in a standard xy coordinate plane. If f of x passes through this point 4, 6, this is my x and my y, what is the value of b? Simple here, all we do is we take our values and put them into our equation. Remember, this is y, so it's going to be 6 equals the square root of 7 times x, which is 4 in this case, plus b. So then this is going to be 7 times 4, which is 28 plus b. If I square both sides, I get 36 equals 28 plus b. Subtract it over, b has to equal 8. Number 2. 7 plus 3x equals 22, find 2x. So we just basically have to solve. So it's going to be 3x equals 22 minus 7, which is 15, x equals 5. And all we do here is just 2 times 5. That's 10. Be careful because 5 is an answer. Don't assume because you've got your x that that's your answer. Don't forget to multiply it by 2. This next one is quadratic, when x is 1. So we have to find this a value. We know that it equals 0, so we're going to put this 1 in, for x. So it's going to be a times 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus 3 equals 0. So we've got a minus 1 equals 0. Move that over. A equals 1. So therefore my answer has to be B. Number 4. Which of the following describes a true relationship between this function? So we've got the quadratic here. We've moved over 3 and we've gone up 2 squared. And then 1/2 x plus 1, so that's that line here. Both in the standard xy coordinate plane. So for f of x equals g of x, for exactly 2 values of x, well, that tells me where they meet. I meet here and here. So I feel like that's probably the right answer. Well, let's just read the rest of them. F of x equals g of x for exactly 1. Well, it crosses twice, so it has to be 2 values because our x's would be here and here. F of x is greater than g of x. So this is f of x is greater than g of x. It's not because all the time, because between here and here, f of x is less than. Because this one isn't true either. And then inverse, no. So it has to be a. 5. For the function g of x equals ax squared plus 24a is a constant, and g of 4 equals 8. What's the value of g of negative 4? Okay, so don't let this mess you up. This here is saying that x is 4 and y is 8. That's what this means. G of 4 is g of x, so x is 4, and the answer is 8. We'll come to that in just a minute. So we're going to use this in the equation first. That equals, because that's your y, a times 4 squared plus 24. So move that over, and we end up with a equaling negative 1. We subtract that over, and then we get negative a equals 16 times a equals negative 1. So we're going to put this back in. So our function, g of x, is now negative x squared plus 24. So I'm going to put g negative 4, so put negative 4 in for x. So negative, this is where it gets tricky. This is how you want to put it in on your calculator, or else it won't work. So that's going to be negative 4 squared, which is 16. 16 times negative 1 plus 24, so 24 minus 16 is 8. So a little bit more work to that one. Number 6. If 6 equals negative 4x plus 2x, what's the value of 10x minus 3? So similar to the number 2. So combine all like terms. 6 equals negative 2x, x equals negative 3. So 10 times negative 3 minus 3 has to be negative 33. Number 7. Negative 16 equals negative 7 plus 6 minus 8. What is the value of 2x plus 4? So similar again. So solve. We're going to get negative 14 because that's going to be 6 minus 8, which is negative 2. Then we add it over, becomes plus 2. Equals negative 7m. M then has to equal 2. And then we come to this here again. Just be careful. 2, unfortunately, there's not an answer to this one, so that's good. So this gives me 8. Find the value of y that satisfies this equation. Don't let the fact that there's decimals in there mess you up. Combine our like terms, or actually just move this 5.1 over here. I get 0.4 equals y minus 7.4. If I add this across, 0.4 plus 7.4, 7.8, and it's just asking for y and nothing else. 9. And the formula k equals 1/2 times mv squared. What is the value of v in terms of m and k? So we're going to rearrange. So this is going to be want to get v on its own. So let's get v squared on its own first. We have to get rid of that half, so we're dividing both sides by a half, which is the same as multiplying by 2. And then we have to divide by m. And the last piece here is just square root. So then that tells me that it is e. Similar idea here, we're just rearranging for the letter. So we're looking for r. So same idea, becomes 3v. So we've multiplied or divided by 1/3. So we're divided by pi. Have to divide by h. And then we want to divide both sides. Oh, sorry, square root both sides. So that would be d. 23. 11. Where did that come from? What is the value of q if x squared blah 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 when x is 3? So it equals 0. So we're going to put this in. We get 9, that's 3 squared, plus 3q minus 12 equals 0. So all I did was take the 3 and substitute it in. 3q equals 3 because this is negative 3. When you put like terms together and move it over, q equals 1. And we're just asking for the value of q, so we don't have to put anything back in, so therefore it's just d. What's the values of k if the following equation is satisfied? Combine like terms. We have on this side 2k minus 5 equals on the right side 2k plus 7. So when I move this k over or subtract it, I'm left with negative 5 equals 7, which is not true, so no values. And that's the first page.